Happy Monday, you guys. This is Brandon.
And this is Bryce. Oh, shoot. Yeah, gotta go. Just got a notification that Comics Exchange was live. So
I wonder who they are. I don't know. I heard they run a very good weekly wrap. Oh, by the way, you guys, welcome back to Weekly Wrap Up. This is the show where we talk about books that came out the past week, recap, review them, discuss them. If you guys have a question or comment for us, leave it in the chat. We will just weave it into the show organically. But we have a lot of people here. I do want to highlight them. We had a few tailgaters. This is great. I just came from AR Comics over on his channel. We talked about comic books, and we talked about it was more of an interview-based conversation. It was great. So it was definitely fun getting to know him, getting to know what he's reading, as well as him getting to know me, and kind of what we do here on Comics Kings. You guys know that this is all about the books. This is the show where we just come here and talk comic books. Again, what did you guys read this week? Let us know. How's your Monday going, Bryce?
It's going all right. School's getting ready to wrap up, so we're really getting into the nitty-gritty. But other than that, it's been pretty good.
It's a grind, brother. It's a grind. You got to keep it up. Work is getting pretty busy. This work here. A lot of cool stuff is coming. We are nearing. I think we're nearing 500. We're like we're at like 445 or something. So we're definitely preparing for our 500 giveaway. It's already in conversations. We're expanding some of our shows. Crisis on Infinite Rants. We are expanding Weekly Wrap Up, which has always been kind of expansive. This is probably our iconic show. Other than Creators Corner, we got a lot of Creators Corner for you guys that I can talk about. I'm gonna make that a little segment later on in the show, so definitely stick around for that. We have 2 exclusive reviews that I want you guys to stick around for. Both come out on Wednesday, one on Tuesday.
Yes.
So that's very exciting that we're doing that. We also are we're also collaborating with the cool comic book company, so we get to talk about that. We also have merch coming out soon. It's been very busy over here. Also, the other job I do is pretty cool. So we got Comic Book Therapy, who is actually first in the chat. Let me just scroll all the way up because
What's up? Yeah.
Let me scroll all the way up. We got CBT in here. It's going to be a good show. It always is a good show. You guys make this a great show, and I'm so excited to have you guys here. Station to everybody. Travis, I know you're
for replay.
Flash by Night, but thank you for tailgating, showing some love in here. I'm excited.
Yeah, seriously. Thanks, man.
Excited to talk to you later. Excited to see what you and Flash have in store for us later on. We got something late about to happen, if I'm quoting Steve. Thank you for being here.
You're an all-star.
We got Phil, Comic Talk Weekly, in here. What is going on? There, we got JT, John Thomas. What is going on? We got Caroline. Look who's showing in here. I see you.
What's up?
We got Jen, who also runs a very, very awesome comic book review show with Mars, who I had the pleasure of meeting. They say that the other is the better half, but they are both equally perfect. So definitely check them out every Sunday during football time, or catch the replay when football time is not happening. And we got Eric the Stash in here. What's going on?
Hey, I will say they are both right in saying that the other is the better half, because they are both the better half.
Yes, of each other. I get it. And then we got Brandon in here. What's going on? I love your name.
What's up, Brandon?
And we got Joe Corallo. First time I said Joe Corallo on the show. What's up, Joe? Good to see you in here.
What is going on, man?
Got to meet Joe at Baltimore too. He's a good dude. We talked about comic books that he likes. He's a huge Vertigo fan, by the way, you guys. We have Sheena in here. What is going on? For the first, I actually sold the Daredevil.
You sold that joint. I still can't believe him.
I sold it. Your boy sold that for other things.
Sold that.
I talk about on the stream, but that book is no longer mine. I mean, I had it. The money was put to something that I needed it for. So, I didn't flip it completely it was for a personal reason, but it was for adult things. But I'm glad that I had the opportunity to put it in my collection for the time being and put it next to my Daredevil stack. So I think that's it.
I was just talking to somebody. I couldn't. It was JT that I think that said it last week, because I remembered that, and I'm like, for the rest of that night, I'm like, do I look like Jeff Lemire?
I think Jeff Lemire his shoulders a little bit more built, so
a little bit broader. I'm still a little bit of a scrawny dude, but
your boy Tom Holland over here looks pretty good. Some people say I look like Tom Holland. I don't know. It's weird, but
is that person Matt Murdock?
Anyway, let's get to the books. Why am I getting a notification that Brian Kingpin's going live? What? I might just hang up and go watch
All
that.
right, guys, thanks for a great show. We got
Take care. Brian Kingpin's going live right now. We got to go check that out. But let's get into the books.
Let's get into it, man. What you read this week?
I want to start talking about ASM 77. This is by Kelly Thompson, Sarah Pachilli. So Sarah Pachilli is a huge Spider-Man creator. She's one of the co-creators of Miles Morales. So this is just another Spider-Man character that she gets to put under her wing, being Ben Reilly. Kelly Thompson has obviously proven herself as one of the more solid writers that Marvel has to offer. But as excited as I was, this issue was a dud. The reason why it was a dud for me,
we're back to
no,
normal.
It was a dud for completely different reasons. It's because I wanted more of it, and it was such a fast read. I got to it, I'm like, that's it? That's really it. So the whole premise of this book, you guys, Ben Reilly is training. He's in a training session, so think like Danger Room type shit. But we are actually with the Beyond Corporation because they want to have a Spider-Man that's actually capable of being Spider-Man because if you guys are new to this book, the Beyond Corporation picked up a little pieces of the Peter Parker Industries from the Dan Slott run, and they hired Ben Reilly to be like the postman of the brand of Spider-Man. So they need to have a Spider-Man because they have the rights of the name Spider-Man and the costume and all that. So Ben Reilly agreed, got Peter's blessing, all that good stuff. So he's training, and we're just learning about all the little schemes that's going on in this Beyond Corporation. And yeah, it was like there was a lot of cool moments. I think the dialogue was very meaningful. We got more dialogue between MJ and Aunt May while they were standing next to Peter and the coffin that he was in following the events of the previous issue. And blacking out in the previous like 2 issues, yeah.
No, he was in a what?
He's in a coma.
Oh, I thought you said coffin.
No, he's in a coma. He's on a coffin.
Oh, good lord. Okay, coma I can deal with.
But morals is like a huge thing, and like what is like morally right for Ben Reilly to do, and we're also kind of diving into his memories, not his memories in the Clone Saga, but his memories like that weren't ruined by the Clone Saga. Just want to clarify that. But at the end, like we got some action scenes and we get to see Morbius because, he has a movie coming out that we're probably not going to see for a long time because, what is that? But they still
come again. New Mutants too before we get Morbius.
Kind of want to push the whole Morbius segment. So they threw him in there and he ends up, and this is like kind of the back half of the book where I was like, oh, that's it. He comes in, he bites Ben, says, I'm sorry. And Ben is going to be like a vampire for Morbius. And I'm like, oh, that's it? But we get to see where Ben is struggling, and that's really like hand-to-hand combat. So we're learning about that. But I looked at this book, I was like, that's it? So it was a fun book. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted more. It was just, it read so quickly. I just like...
It's very anticlimactic.
It was like a 2-minute read, and I was like, this book's a dud because it left me with nothing other than, that's it?
Yeah.
But the next issue comes out in 2 weeks, so we'll get to see. I don't have to wait too long, so I'm a little bit more...
Is this book still coming out 3 times a month?
I think so, because they're trying to push to that 100 mark. They're really trying to hit that Spider-Man 100 because they need Peter back, because you're not going to see Peter for a very long time now.
Yeah.
So or you're going to see him as Peter Parker more so than you're going to see him as Spider-Man. So, we need to get this in and out of here. So they're really pumping that out.
I'll probably jump on at issue 100 if that brings Peter Parker back as Spider-Man and if it's not being published 3 times a month, because that is just excessive and money hungry, if you ask me.
Yeah. I don't think this is probably the first time I've ever seen an Amazing Spider-Man book, literally be, weekly and then bi-weekly. So it goes weekly, bi-weekly, weekly, bi-weekly, weekly, bi-weekly. So it's weird, but I don't know how this book survives paper shortages, and for some reason no other book on the shelf does.
Yeah, freaking Image is getting delayed like nobody's business.
Meanwhile, you still print out 2,000 Batman and Spider-Man titles out there.
Did Venom get delayed another week, or is it still supposed to come out this week? Venom got delayed another week. Fantastic. I mean,
it saves me $8 on my pull list. So
facts.
But
a book that I wish was coming out twice a month, but unfortunately isn't. Robin.
Oh yeah.
You didn't like the last issue. No, I loved it, but I thought this issue was even better.
I think I was very vocally against the last issue.
Honestly, I think this might be my favorite issue of the series,
Oh,
aside
100%.
from issue 5. Issue
Other
5 is
than
my
the
favorite.
Robin chase down, and then this one, yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think this was a very solid run or book.
We have 2 artists on this. So Joshua Williamson's the writer. He's killing it. He is probably my favorite writer for DC right now. Like, I know we have Chip Zdarsky and some other writers that kind of bounce back and forth, but they're more of like a Marvel writer. Joshua Williamson's pretty much 100% a DC writer at this point, and he is my favorite DC writer.
Yeah.
So love that they gave him pretty much the entire Bat family aside from like Nightwing.
Right.
But yeah, it's written by Joshua Williamson, art by Gleb Melnikov, and Max Dunbar for this issue. We have 2 artists, and Damian is really starting to uncover the whole mother soul type thing, like who she is, what the deal is with the island. This book has very quickly become a mystery, and I really enjoy that. I like how Station Darth Timo, how you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
Okay, so Ron V is one of my favorite writers, but he doesn't put out the volume that Joshua Williamson does mixed with the quality. Like Joshua Williamson to me has that perfect balance in the big 2 right now of quantity and quality.
Right. What's going on, Brandon? Saw you pop it in here. Like I said, you guys, if you have a question or comment about any book we read or anything that's not, like if you want to ask us a question about what we thought of Dune or Young Justice, ask. Just drop something, anything you want. Huh?
So you had to bring up Young Justice?
I don't want. I'm so sorry, bro. But
okay, but no. This book is just riddled with mystery at this point. We're figuring out who Mother Soul is. We're learning more about this Respawn character. We get some great character dynamics between Damian and Flatline, and that's all on display in this issue. So Respawn is still going after Damian. They're in that death tournament. They're the ones fighting each other. We get a little glimpse of Respawn's face, which I think is definitely going to play a factor in the coming issues as to who he is.
Right.
And then Damian kicks him off a cliff.
Oh, yeah. Damian's like, yeah, fuck you.
And see, this is what I love, because we get the little bit of Batman in him. But something I think that gets neglected with Damian a lot is that he's still an Al Ghul.
Oh, yeah.
He's still he was raised by the League of Assassins, and it is perfectly on display here.
I think what's very cool about this book is Damian finally has a voice, where previous writers since Grant Morrison and Peter Tomasi have given him that voice, but that voice has been lost for so many years because you had Adam Glass writing him, you had Ben Percy, both talented writers, just never really had that voice for Damian or really never understood everything that you just mentioned.
You had Peter Tomasi writing him for a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm saying post Morrison and Tomasi. Because Tomasi really didn't do much when he was on Detective. Damian was so off limits because he was running with the Teen Titans.
Didn't he do Batman and Robin with Pat Gleason and then Super Sons? But
I really enjoy the fact that Williamson understands the character and is actually doing something. By the way, Jen really wants to know what we thought of Dune, and she says it in all caps with a bunch of exclamation points. So we have all right.
Well, I was gonna finish covering this issue, but since it's in all caps, we'll take a quick break. Dune was phenomenal. Good God, Dune was phenomenal. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors working today. I loved him when he made Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Prisoners. I've pretty much liked everything that I've seen that he's done except for Enemy. And Dune just continues his little sci-fi tangent that he's going down. And to me, I think it might be the one that I've thought about the most. It's either that or Arrival that I've just thought about the most. And I think Arrival might still be my favorite, but it's like neck and neck between Dune and Blade Runner 2049 as far as one of my favorites from his work. But
I like the music.
You like the music, the sound design,
I enjoyed it. It was an engaging movie. The story was great. I liked how they were able to change pace in their action scenes. It just didn't feel like we're gonna just kill everyone. It's like they slowed some parts down. The scene with Bene Gesserit coming off
the Bene Gesserit, yep.
Sure. Caroline's Arrival. No, I don't know.
Okay,
I've
so
never seen
that
it,
actually gives me the perfect opportunity. I'm just segueing into this real quick, and then we'll get back to Dune real quick. But in the coming weeks, I'm going to be making Brandon a movie list, and he is going to be watching one of those movies every week and then talking about it just for a little bit of a snippet here on the show. Probably like just a couple of minutes, but still, because Brandon doesn't watch movies.
I'm very selective in my movies. I don't know like directors. I know comic writers. I know comic artists. I know editors, publishers, and various comic like publishing companies. But I don't know shit about movies. Like I thought Tarantino and like who's the dude Christopher Nolan. I thought they were like
you thought Tarantino and Christopher Nolan made the same movies.
I thought like they were working on like the same movies for like the longest time. I don't know this shit, yo. Like it's hard enough doing this, but
and see I was a movie guy before I was a comic guy.
Really? I love
Star Wars did borrow heavily from Dune.
I can tell you who did Star Wars. Wait, George Lucas. It was George Lucas. I can tell you who
George
did that.
Lucas. JT, I know, and I hate horror too. So there will be very few horror movies that get put on the list, and I mean and very light horror movies too. I'm talking like the monster horror style, like mostly Aliens. So I'm probably gonna put like Signs.
Oh yeah, I love Alien.
Because Signs is phenomenal. What else? Shoot, A Quiet Place is phenomenal. So those movies will both be going on.
Let's go down, man.
List.
But yeah,
Dune
was great.
Fantastic. Hans Zimmer knocked it out of the park with the score. The sound design was fantastic. I can see this movie winning all sorts of technical awards. And I'm glad I knew it was a part one going into it. That way, that didn't really hinder my experience with it. And I really just came out being wholly satisfied. Can't wait to see it again. I kind of got flamed by some friends of mine for not inviting them the first time I went because I wanted to see it by myself. So I'm actually going to see it with them again on Friday.
For someone who never got really into Dune, right? So I'm new for Dune. This was a very welcoming movie. And it makes me want to do what Bryce is doing and reading the damn books because that's what we're about. Here's reading the book. I want to go back and read the books. But Dune was exciting. It kept my attention. The narrative was great. And I thought the acting was great. I'm trying to sound technical, but I just don't know how to review movies, guys. So it was great. Take my word for it because you're not going to get a better review from me with this.
Yeah. You'll get better at it once you watch more movies. You'll start making.
I try to watch Robbie. I try to watch Robbie review movies, and I'm just like, director, producer. There's a difference.
you start noticing things too, and stuff like blows your mind more after you know certain things about. And I still know very little in the grand scheme of things. Like I'm very immersive, so the things I notice are the acting, the score, the pacing, and the direction. I know next to nothing about sound design.
I like the setting sometimes.
I know next to nothing about cinematography, but I still notice the more movies I watch, the quality at least.
Yay, movies. We talk movies. Let's go back to what I care about.
Yeah, okay, let's get back to Robin. Yeah, because Robin was but yeah, Damien kicks Respawn off a cliff. Mother Soul sees him because she followed him because he stole her book in the last issue. He was real slick about that too. I loved it. But they basically confront each other, and Damien's like, look, I know what the deal with this island is, and I know who you are. And it turns out that Mother Soul is a woman named Ruh Al Ghul.
Oh, yeah.
Soul of the demon. Huh?
This is the only part I didn't like.
See, I actually kind of dug it because
I called it 2 weeks ago, Bryce.
But if we're reading in depth, on these things, not every twist is going to be totally unpredictable, but it fits the story. And I feel like this woman is the mother of Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Which I feel like fits the tone and fits the story perfectly, especially since Damien is still learning to balance his bat heritage with his demon heritage. And meeting his great grandmother for the first time will only create more conflict down the line, will only create a more interesting, inevitable final confrontation.
You know who the great grandmother reminds me of? Shakira, because no matter how old they get, they still look like they're 22. Just saying.
Well, I mean, look at Raish. I mean,
Have you
somebody
not
had to
seen
teach
Shakira?
him.
Have you guys like not seen like how great Shakira looks for like being like what 50?
Oh, probably like every day.
Like literally, like I feel like if you put like a blonde hair on me like Shakira hair on me, we could pass as like 2 years apart or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm stretching it, but
I didn't need that mental image.
her
Her
hips
hips don't lie.
don't lie. You know
Brandon's
what?
do.
You know what? Mine are very honest with the pain they're in. Mine are honest. Like, oh, surgery
Shakira
needed.
said hips don't lie. Brandon said hips.
Hips. Oh, they're getting replaced. Yep. What are they? They're just deteriorating. It's not anymore because they're half replaced. Yay!
But okay, back to a happier note. Respawn comes
Nick.
back because apparently the island with all this bloodshed, the island is a living Lazarus pit.
Hi, Marissa.
Like what on earth?
Right? That was awesome.
That was freaking amazing. And you know, it makes me question this whole 3 death rule that we've been hearing about this entire time.
It's like, no, it just needs people. It just needs blood. They don't care about that shit.
She goes and meets Ravager, tries to tell her everything, and you know, Hawk's not having any of it. Hawk wants to win this tournament.
Oh yeah. Well, Hawk's under a lot of pressure too.
Hawk is under a lot of pressure from the League of Shadows, and then Flatline shows up. So we've essentially got our main 4 that we had in the last issue that was kind of forming this band. We've basically got them all going against each other now.
Right.
And there's some obvious chemistry between Damian and Flatline. They don't really want to fight each other, but Flatline feels like she has to, and Damian's never one to back down.
Right.
So their impulses and instincts are putting them at odds with each other.
Right.
To the point where Damian even apologizes when he inevitably injures her and causes her to die.
Right. Right.
And this was honestly like this panel right here, which obviously we're doing full spoilers, so I might as well show some of the art.
Oh yeah, this
top panel here was just so
well done,
gut wrenching. Just because you rarely see. I think the only other person that I can think of that Damian would react that way towards is Dick Grayson. Maybe Bruce. But you rarely see him like have his eyes opened to that regard when somebody dies.
Alfred he was like that with.
Okay, Alfred, obviously, yeah, because Alfred
died in front of him. Alfred died right in front of him.
Well, okay, I didn't read that run. I jumped on when James Tynion took over. So, but yeah, like Alfred even putting his hand on his shoulder right there. So yeah, I can't believe I forgot that one. Alfred is always there with Damian because of this. But yeah, and that's really what opened his eyes in the first place, I think.
I would like to talk about a book that our new friends over at AWA were so kind enough to send us. This book is coming out on Wednesday. Make sure you guys buy it because it was great. It's called The Knighted. It's by Greg Hurwitz. He made from doing Moon Knight. And then you have Mark Teixeira, who you know from Ghost Rider, did some Wolverine stuff. So this book has a lot of talent on it. And what I love about this book, and the cover is a nice homage to Dark Knight by Frank Miller.
Yep.
But it's cool because you kind of get those gritty vibes from that book in that time period. But it's also like, well, we're so used to superheroes or gritty super characters fighting each other, kind of like post their origin. But like, what will lead into their origin, right? Yeah. What kind of story will lead into their origin? So that's really what we're learning about in this book is this character's origins, like pre-origin story. Leading into, it's going to get big and bad, and there are a bunch of mysteries, a lot of different character relationships. It's like a really small circle of characters that it's all like twisty. It's great. The art is so reflective, and what Greg Hurwitz is going for, you guys. I'm super excited. I'm not spoiling anything, but this is probably my favorite work from the both of them. I'm not as well read on Greg Hurwitz as much as I am on Mark Teixeira, but make sure you guys add this from AWA. Great stuff. All their links are in the description below. So make sure you guys check out their website. You want more information on the book, contact your LCS or go right to the website. Again, it's below in this video. and I cannot praise the book enough. Big shout out to AWA for sending us this book. It was very enjoyable.
It was awesome. I always love seeing new superhero titles, especially new indie superhero titles, because you never know what you're going to get. And this book was
Link Station,
a fantastic example of something new, something different. And honestly, my only complaint with this book is that it's following the typical AWA release format and only being a 5-issue series.
Yeah, I would love to see this take on like an Invincible form. I would love to see this take on like a saga form and be a long-term project. I guess like AWA is still a newer company, so I could see them like kind of doing this later down the line.
I could see them breaking this up into like seasons.
Or like it depends on how they sell, really.
Kind of like a Year Zero type situation.
So, guys, if you want this book to get another season, like Hotels is, which is also up for pre-order right now, so make sure you guys do that as well.
Yeah.
Buy this book. Support it. Buy it in floppies.
Seriously.
I'm buying it. You guys are going to see me next show with the book held up just like this. I loved it. Thank you to AWA for sending this our way. And you guys will see more AWA books on the channel just like this. But another book that I do want to talk about still in the indie way. It's right in front of me, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. House of Slaughter #1. This is by James Tynion IV, Werther Dell'Edera, and another artist that I don't know how to pronounce their name. And Boom never really puts their credit. Okay, story by James Tynion and Tate Bromble, and the illustration is by Chris Shayon. But okay,
is Miguel Muerto still doing the colors?
Yes, Miguel Muerto is still doing the colors, and this book we are learning about a new character, kind of predecessing Erica's era. So based off what we know about Something is Killing Children, we already understand the concepts of the different masks. This takes it more in development. And how are these guys trained? You know, how do they get good at what they're doing? And it reminds me of the Red Room from Black Widow a lot. So if you kind of like that concept, you will see that reflected in this book in a very gritty way. You get to learn about a character who is LGBT, so you're adding a lot of diversity, and Tynion does a very good job at giving each character their respected voice. A lot of times in indie books, some creators sound very two-dimensional, and that's just due to the creator not really focusing on them. Even like the side characters in this book have a great voice, so I was really thrilled with this read. It's keeping up the format of a very simple panel layout, so there's really only one way to read this book, and it's very intentional in how they want the flow to be. It still feels kind of cinematic in a way. The horrorness, it wasn't exactly horror. I wouldn't say this is as horror-based as we saw in Something is Killing Children. It was more character development and it was more heavily dialogued in the art carried the horror aspects, but the dialogue, you really got a feel for the characters. Tynion wrote it very well. I know it's got a lot of reception, a lot of hype. Again, my biggest advice, if you like the book, just buy it. Right? I want to go crazy. But, you know, the foil is very tempting, and then the foil was great. But I wouldn't like all these other retailers doing like there's like this whole little thing of exclusive covers. Yeah, see, if you really, 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 really care to get one, go for it. But nice. It was great. I love this book. Yeah. I love this book.
And not everybody's gonna like it.
And Mark doesn't like it. I want to see.
I saw his comment. Look, that's the great thing about comics, though.
Right? Is there's something for everybody. Personally, I thought it was great. You know, I think there are better books that Boom has. I think Once in Future is the best book at Boom Studios right now. That being said, I'm not reading everything from Boom. I'm enjoying it because I like all the concepts and I like the lore and the history and the mythology being put in there. But
now, Once in Future, I think is the best ongoing title Boom has right now. But if we're talking like best title overall,
I would say, Something is Killing Children has the most hype to it.
I have to say, Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
I wouldn't say, Many Deaths of Layla Starr. That's good point. I take back what I said, but
I still think about that book sometimes, especially the foil covers too. You talk about foil covers.
I don't think this was a cash grab at all because it's giving another character a different voice, and you're not going to know that based off of one issue. See, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right, about number ones. You gotta have patience. Just
Yeah,
because
number
it's
one's
setting up,
usually
it's
pretty
setting up a
good.
different direction doesn't mean it's adding or taking anything away from the already established 20-some ish, 18 issues it's in? However
20, I
many
think at
issues.
this point, 2021.
However many issues. Right? But this is adding another character to this world. So you never know. After one issue, we take a completely different turn. This is
Yeah.
obviously before Erica became what she was, But you know what? You guys are entitled to your opinion. We're here just to say ours. And yes, we all need the gorgeous for the many
Please.
star. We got Dave in
Please.
here. What is going on?
What's up, Dave?
Bryce, I just talked about 2 books, so you're up.
All right. I can't decide which book to talk about. Should I go with my pick of the week or no? You already know what it is.
I know what your pick of the week is, but I don't think anyone else does.
All right, let's talk about it. 1, 2, 3. Moon Knight number 4. Good Lord. All right. I'm going to try not to gush about this book entirely and just review it, but it's going to be difficult. So, this book has an overarching theme of masks, especially in this issue. Obviously, Moon Knight is a character that has dissociative identity disorder, which I love seeing characters with disabilities and disorders getting represented in comics. I think there should be, a little bit more of them. But Moon Knight's a great one nonetheless. We see him having a therapy session, and he's basically... I'll probably end up still doing it by the end of this.
Oh, don't make JT cut onions.
We see him having a therapy session, and he gets asked right off the bat, why the mask? And we basically, Moon Knight, he says when he wears the mask, he's not Mark Spector. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, okay, what does he mean? What does he mean by that? And he basically just goes on to explain how Moon Knight is a symbol and how people need him more than they need Mark Spector. Okay, cool. We then cut to kind of this, it's a throwaway villain in this issue because the villain and this is not the main antagonist of this issue. Right, so he's basically kind of a knockoff Jigsaw who wants to get at Moon Knight by taking away Stephen Grant's money, who's one of Moon Knight's many identities.
Chet says hello, kitties.
What's up? By the way, if you guys haven't been reading this title, this is a perfect way to jump on to Moon Knight. This is how I jumped on, and you really learn a lot. Like, this has gone into, even in just 4 issues, gone into so many major character beats that you need to know that I already feel like I've known the character for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Jed McKay really wants you to know in his books, hey, I did my research, guys. Like it. And he does. He's a great way of taking history and making it feel modern. So I think he's more of I think he's like a newer Scott Snyder, but with actually history.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, great. It's very new.
Which is something I really like about the another book we're going to talk about here in a bit is he pretty much has he's pretty much always had runs that people can jump in, but Moon Knight's not one of those characters, and it's good to see now. So we see somebody. I'm not really familiar with this character, Tigra. I guess she was with the West Coast Avengers with Moon Knight at one point. So, as I was telling you when I was on FaceTime with you reading this the other night, I've got some more reading to do. And her and Moon Knight's vampire assistant start getting along. Tigra tries to take Mark's mask off. Mark pulls it down real quick. So we're really getting back to that mask thing.
Right.
Moon Knight gets a phone call from knockoff Jigsaw and basically saying, look, I'm taking away your money. I'm going to drain it all unless you do what I say. And he's like, okay. Moon Knight's like, okay, I'll play along, at least until I can find you. He does that. He ends up going and tracking down, some mobsters. He goes and fights Jigsaw, and then he goes and fights actual Jigsaw, and then he goes to knockoff Jigsaw, who's named Clark. They fight each other, take each other. Moon Knight takes him down and is basically like, look, all this means nothing to me. Like, and you can have it for all I care. It means nothing, which I thought was really cool. How he basically said, like, look, I don't need it.
What's up, Perry?
I do what I do regardless. What's up, Perry? So him and Tiger are talking on a roof after, and this is where the mask thing really comes to a head, and I think really solidified this issue as one of the best Marvel Comics issues to come out in a while. Mark Spector is severely depressed. So much has happened to him to the point where he thinks the world would be better off if Mark Spector just didn't exist. So he always keeps the Moon Knight mask on, and he takes his mask off, and we see he is just, physically speaking, a wreck.
Yes.
And so it ends with Tiger basically comforting Mark and just saying, like, look, I don't have anywhere to be. I need Mark Spector.
Right.
And so it looks like going forward, we might be getting some Moon Knight and Tiger team-ups again, which I really like. But this is one of those issues for me that I will want to talk about for months to come. And this is the standard for me at Marvel right now. Books like Moon Knight is the standard. That's the bar for me right now. After this issue, this might be my favorite Marvel title.
Might be. We got Goonie Geek in here. What's going on, brother? I saw Perry lurking around. I'm doing all right, brother. How are you doing? It's good to see you in here. Seeing the title got you like, yeah, you know. We're gonna be talking about that in quite a bit. I do have 2 books I want to talk about.
Where's the bag for that book?
Where's the bag for that
They were all in bags prior to the show, and they were.
Mine don't go in bags anymore until after I talk about them. That's my routine. Well, I read Detective Comics 1044 by Akira Tamaki, Dan Mora. I love them both. I can't stand this book. So this is the last book I'm going to read. Now, my first biggest gripe is Batgirl recently got a new costume in the latest Nightwing issue, and that's been a part of Fear State, kind of a narrative for Batgirl was this new costume. They got the wrong costume. I was like, what the fuck? I'm sorry, but that pisses me off. But that was the first thing. Other than that, the story is it's still very lackluster. I think the highlight for me was seeing Makio Tamaki write another Bat female character being Batwoman, and that was a highlight for me. Dan Moore's art's a treat, but the story falls flat, and to the point where it's like there are so many Batman books out there, I don't need this.
Yeah.
No. You're still trying to push the concepts with Mayor Nakano going crazy, and I think that if they took, I say like take 2 steps back from Mayor Nakano and take a step forward and actually looking at what you're drawing. It may be visually great, but editorial, you need to get a handle on it, especially if you're putting out all these Batman books, and this is your continuity Batman book that you're trying to push. Especially with this book, Detective Comics is going to have like this big story arc in January. So, do you have my faith? No, not anymore. Sorry, I'm out. I was very high on this run when I
started. It was fantastic when it first started.
I was very high on this book. I said this was I said this was the best book in the best Batman book in DC at the time. I would stand by that if we're still talking about the first 4 issues. I just think that the story has run flat. Akira Tamaki is playing off a lot of tropes that we know from Gotham and just restating them that we've already seen her do. So I don't need to know Gotham's a dark place. I can see that.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? And I don't care about the Vial. I don't care about Mayor Nakano. These just characters that
is Worth still involved? Because I dropped this book a long time.
No, Worth was worthless, just like the rest of this book is. But it's not doing me anything keeping this book up. So I might check in later. I'll definitely be open. Mark Waid to Detective Comics. You know what? That would be a dream come true. It's funny because me and Stefan were talking about that a few weeks ago.
But yeah, I don't know. The Batman books recently, with the exception of maybe Batman the Detective, have been very up and down. And some of them have just been straight up lackluster. So at this point, when it comes to Batman, in Williamson we trust. Like, get us back on the right track.
In Mark Waid 2022 we trust.
Mark Waid 2022.
In Mark Waid, another book that I read, I was very met on it. I was very met on the first issue. That's Deathstroke Incorporated, a Joshua Williamson book, and it written Written by Joshua, drawn by Howard Porter.
How do you kick this man out of his own show? We don't.
You know what? Why? You know why? Is I don't think Deathstroke has any business being in space. Don't you already have a space bounty hunter? His name's Lobo.
That's okay. That's fair. Yeah, Deathstroke has no. I never said he was a perfect writer.
Deathstroke and Black Canary. These are a lot of high-powered concepts that are drawn to be like kind of like Greg Capullo in the New 52. Like, oh, this visually looks cool. Like this combination looks great, but I don't care. I don't care. And we're gearing to so the whole thing is this organization called the Trust. They are trying to hire Deathstroke to attack certain villains that were part of Legion of Doom and basically overstep the Justice League and just piss everyone off. That is their goal, and they're using Deathstroke and Black Canary to do so. And they're going to find Cheetah, who's out in her own world and just not involved in anyone. So I don't care. I don't care. You know, it's also like you're buying so many books. Like I'm sure it's a good story and it will be a good story. But this is just not what I envisioned in a Deathstroke book. If you want to see this kind of crazy adventure, great. We already know he's going to die. We already know he's living the last days of his life and he's just traveling space. I want to see him more as a father figure, more of a not really giving him a heroic death because he is supposed to be one of the most notorious contract killers out there. I would just prefer him to go out in a big bad way, doing big bad things, right?
Yeah.
So does Williamson create good moments? Yes, but I don't think they're fitting for Deathstroke as a character.
That's fair. I think a lot of times you see these. I don't want to, because Deathstroke was never a villain. Deathstroke was a mercenary, so I'll call him a non-villain. You see them kind of start to go the anti-hero route, and that's fine. But I wish we would just. Hero. What was it?
He's definitely sorry. My foot had like a big itch on it, but he's definitely not a hero.
Yeah, I wish we would even have some of them stop going the anti-hero route. Like Red Hood, fine. Punisher, fine. Deadpool, sure, he's hilarious. Deathstroke is one of those I wish like. Deathstroke's one of those characters I want to see in an antagonist role.
Right. I just think like. He has so much capability just to mess everyone up, and that's just really what I see. I see a lot of good qualities in Slade as a father and what he's attempting to do, but I never see him being 100% a pure person simply because he's seen too much. Once you see those things that Slade has been through, there's no point in return. That's why you will never see Frank Castle be anything more than the Punisher. You will never see Deathstroke anything more than Deathstroke, and I think that concept is missed in this book.
Personally, if everything is continuity to DC now, I don't understand how Deathstroke could even come close to being a hero after the Judas contract.
Oh yeah, but no, that's the Omniverse because I don't even know what they're trying to think. You know, with that, it's
yeah. I mean, did that Bronze Age stuff and New 52? Like, is there a separate Earth for the New 52? I love DC. They're coming out with some of my favorite titles. They're coming out with some of my favorite titles individually, but as a universe, they are a mess. Right. And I think Infinite Frontier did a decent job at explaining what was kind of going on. I think it was the best job they could have done, but I don't know. Yeah, Spider-Man is the funniest guy in Marvel, in my opinion. I agree with this.
Am I bad for saying Conan has been freaking hysterical in Savage Avengers? I'm sorry, but I find Conan to be very hysterical.
Actually, I don't.
I agree with this. I can't stand anything that like you throw Punisher in. Like I'll like a few runs here and there. Castle. But I love Slade so much more. Like what I want to love in Slade so much more. I think he's everything that Punisher just can't be. But right now, I feel like Punisher is what Slade Wilson should be. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, Deathstroke achieves a whole lot more than the Punisher.
Well, it's because Deathstroke is enhanced. Deathstroke is a superhuman, whether people want to admit it or not.
Yeah, but now he's like that and with Bat Tech. And it's like, but what are you going to do with it? You're going to put him in space. Ha ha! I'm like, oh, I don't care.
But I don't know. They are very similar, but I noticed one blaring difference that would put them in opposition of each other. What?
One has a family.
Ouch. No, I was going to say Frank became what he is because he lost his family. Deathstroke drove his family away because of what he is. Especially like in the older Teen Titans stuff, which is a lot of what I'm referencing, because to me that is the holy grail of Deathstroke.
Right.
His family hated him.
Right.
They were still his family, but he hated him. So that they are very similar, but with one blaring difference.
Right. I agree. Different characters are going to age certain ways, and they're going to interact different ways just due to their environment, nature versus nurture. We've been saying that for a lot, but I don't know. I don't think that Joshua Williamson understands a whole lot. Like, he creates good moments. His dialogue's fine. Great. His story's great. It's just not what I want in a Frank Castle book. So,
Yeah.
or not a Frank Castle.
In a
What are we
Deathstroke
talking
book.
about? In a Slade Wilson. But you guys have me all.
I wish we had a Frank Castle book, but
yeah, me too. But they screwed Matthew Rosenberg out of a job years ago when he was on the book, even though he had a really good run.
Well, plus some things that happened at the beginning of the year basically assured us that we're not going to have a Punisher book for a while.
Right. No, you're not. But we have to move on to more books. We have a lot more books to talk about.
Yeah. Dig into some X-Men next?
Hell yeah, I'm all for it.
How many X books?
We're not going to talk about all of them. I think we're just going to talk about two of them, the two big ones, probably being Sword and Inferno. Wolverine, I enjoyed. Marauders, I didn't as much. Wolverine, you're just getting to see him and some old folks going on an adventure. So if you like the 90s Wolverine, you like a lot of X-Force concepts, like with the old team, you get to see Maverick, you get to see Domino, and you get to see Logan, of course, so it's great. Read it.
Absolutely. Marauders came out this week.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't that good. They were in space.
Wasn't that good?
Anyway,
Fair enough.
That was fine.
Sword, number 9, by Al Ewing, with art by Uno Momento.
Chet doesn't like spoilers, so he's leaving with X-Men. Like, he can do spoilers for other books, but not X-Men.
Jacopo
Come on.
Camagni. Yeah, Al Ewing and Jacopo Camagni on art.
I'm so sorry if they're listening to this.
Yeah, I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. So we open up and immediately we get Vindicator meeting with what's his name? Garich, who is leading Alpha Flight currently. Yeah. So Alpha Flight has kind of become villains during this Krakoan age. And so he recruits Vindicator to take down mutants, essentially, and he's telling them all about Araco and Soul and everything that happened during Planet Size X-Men, which is still having ramifications months later, which is what I love about this run. It makes Al Ewing one of the best writers in Marvel. We get introduced to the Shi'ar Empire in this run, if you guys remember, from the classic Uncanny X-Men original Phoenix saga.
Hell yeah. I love the Shi'ar Empire when they just like join, and it's like they only join when there's some mutants in space and it's just not working in their favor. I think it's fun.
Pretty much, yeah. Personally, I loved seeing Gladiator. Gladiator's always been my favorite of that whole bunch. Him or Cannonball.
Right.
But yeah, we see Brand and Manifold, which is great to see Manifold again. Basically monitoring what's going on. Why isn't Storm there? Storm's still fighting in those kind of Gladiator-style battles like she was in issue 8. And you see the Shi'ar Empire kind of getting anxious. And then we get this group known as the Lethal Legion show up. And I thought they were kind of dumb at first, but they ended up being really formidable. Ended up taking out half of the Shi'ar Empire that was there. In a bunch of different ways. Yeah, a lot of this issue is, we get a big fight between them, and it looks like they're all going to die until Storm shows up.
Hell yeah.
And so we cut back to Gyrich and Vindicator, and we find out that there is a mole in Sword working with Orcus.
And that is none other than
the last person I wanted it to be.
WizKid. I thought it was fun. I was like, oh, of course. He doesn't even know any better. I was like, that was my reaction.
Well, isn't that okay? The fact that Brand is right, isn't that Brand right behind him? Brandon's right behind him and doesn't know it. Like doesn't notice a thing.
No, Wiz Kid's sitting there smiling.
Yeah, he's sitting there smiling. But I mean, okay, it
What's going
makes
on,
sense
BJ?
that it's
Thanks
WizKid.
for talking. You know what?
BJ Kicks.
This is a cool little segue. Merch will be out soon, guys. So if you want to reserve merch for when we do drop it, just send me a DM with your size and everything. And then once I work out prices with the merchandiser I'm dealing with, the guys making the shirts for everyone, then I will announce it. But I can just say we're working on it. It'll be probably about 2 weeks. 3 weeks, maybe a month down the road. But if you want to reserve a spot, just send me a DM. My Instagram's in the description below. Or if you want to just hit up Bryce as well, or Stefan, any of us here at Comics Kings, let us know, and we will put you in the backlog. Because what's the backlog?
Just so you know that me and Steph are top of the line because we still haven't gotten ours yet. But you guys will be shortly after. No,
and my mom's been been very excited about it.
Oh, yeah, gotta get them. Gotta hook.
Sebastian says Wolverine title was a headache. Hopefully, 10 Lives and Deaths is good. Sword was bad, but they're always good. Yeah, I like Wolverine. I like Maverick.
See, Sword. I enjoyed this issue of Sword more than I have in a couple of months. So it's nice to see it really coming back to what it was initially, which is going to end up being Sword versus Alpha Flight.
It's cool. It's a cool segment,
especially with the whole mole aspect. I thought was really cool. I love a good double agent story.
Right. Now let's talk about the book that matters. Let's talk about Big Bad Inferno #2, you guys. So a lot of people I heard were really, really low in this book. In a couple group chats, couple other YouTubers I've been noticing, people are very quick, and again, you got to be patient, right?
I thought it was really cool, personally.
I really like this book. I enjoyed it. I just love. I love it. I love it. I can't say anything much, but other than now, this is what happens. I got it all out. This is what happens. So, Destiny's back. We learned that from the previous issue, and this is where we learn how. So, Mystique resurrects. So she goes in. She steals that Charles Xavier's helmet from Magneto. She steals Cerebro. Can I talk? I'm just gushing over this issue.
Oh my gosh!
I've done nothing but talking the past since 6 o'clock.
Oh, good lord!
So, and I gotta talk. That's why I'm not gonna be talking much on Team Nerd later.
Here.
I'm gonna be there, but no, I got it. I got this, and I got coffee, so we're good. So. We got Mystique, who is trying to lobby to other, I don't want to say high table, but quiet council members.
High table. quiet council members, yes.
Quiet council members, okay, to vote for Destiny to not only be resurrected, but to have a seat. She's like, once Destiny's back, I'm gonna call a meeting, right?
Yeah.
And she's so sly, she goes over to Sinister, right? She bribes Sinister. She resurrects Destiny. They share a great moment, and she's nursing Destiny. She's helping her recover from the time lapse that she has lost. Okay, so Destiny's on the quiet council. She knows that Nightcrawler will vote in her favor. What she doesn't understand is who else. So she gets Sinister, right? She gets what was his name?
She gets Exodus.
She gets Exodus, and then she gets Shaw, and she gets Emma Frost by bribing the crap out of Emma Frost. Okay,
it's kind of funny too because her bribe to Shaw was that Emma would vote against him.
Yep.
But then she bribed Emma, and then they both ended up voting the same thing. So I can imagine Shaw isn't real happy right now.
So then we kind of learn more about what Orcus is doing. We kind of get into their end game per se. And what they are going to do now that Nimrod is online. And then we flip over to Myra McTaggart, who throws a glass because she's pissed. She's like, what do you mean Destiny's back? That's one thing I didn't want to happen. She's like, she's going to kill me because of how Destiny died. And what's going on with that. So Charles like, we got it. Like, go down. We got it. And Magneto's like, do we? So
we don't got it.
So Myra's like, killer. Magneto's just like, not a chance. We're not killing her. He's like, you realize I've been the villain of this place for years, and now that I've helped grow it, I'm not gonna do it. And she's like,
No, I
you
mean,
have to do something. She's like pissed. She's like acting like a teenager. She's like, you gotta just do it, dude. Do it, bro.
This is a more in character Magneto than in the actual book with his name in the title.
So-
Just because he this is all he's been working towards. All he has wanted for years is for mutants to have their sovereignty.
But what's really cool,
he's not gonna throw that away.
Where Mystique disguises herself as Sage and goes into the X-Men, into the X-Forces kind of log, into Sage's log that has like all of the defense systems.
Yep.
And she arms everything. So she's definitely she's playing a game. Her and Destiny are playing a game. So we got Raging. What's going on, brother? Raging's awesome. Raging does an awesome Sunday stream, so make sure you guys go check that out. Especially if your football team is on a bye week or not playing at the time that Raging goes live. I think that is a very fun show to watch. He's had Missing Link, so member of Comics Kings, member of the PCB Army Bad Batch, Missing Link, the infamous Missing Link. And he's had some other members as well that I just who else did he have on? I think he had her. Did he have her? I don't remember. But my brain is logged. So we still see Mystique kind of doing a lot of stuff. She walks into kind of what Orcus is doing, and in the meantime, we see Myra, Magneto, and Charles meeting with Emma, and Myra and Emma share their first interaction post House and Powers of X. Yep. Emma is terrified of what she saw with Myra and is very intimidated. She's like, "Yeah, no, you guys are keeping this from us. I'm done." And
they basically made an enemy out of Emma Frost.
They didn't make an enemy, but they also they know that Emma understands why they're doing what they're doing, but she disagrees with it. She's like, I understand, but still, you could have come to me.
Screw you guys.
They're like, well, there's one seat left in the Quiet Council that's up for grabs, and that is Colossus. So Colossus is kind of like their ambassador to the Quiet Council to help enforce their agenda and what they want to do in the pending danger and everything going, which is great because Colossus is a military mind. He's a great leader and he's very vocal. So I think that Colossus kind of being in their back pocket with all this knowledge is very beneficial to the X-Men.
He also has that sense of compassion that people like Mystique, Shaw, Emma, Destiny, and half the members of the Quiet Council lack.
Right.
Pretty much everybody at this point except for Storm, Nightcrawler, and now Colossus.
Right. So basically what this issue was, when they go low and we go low, we're just going to go higher. We're just going to take the higher and make them look like a bunch of dicks. Meanwhile, Destiny and Mystique are playing their little games, which we're going to see that end game coming along with the threat of Nimrod coming full circle because Destiny has a plan. Maybe Destiny could be the hero of the story. I could totally see that being fitting. And Mystique, what I could totally see is they would flip the narrative. Destiny would be the hero of Krakoa. Mystique would be alienated because of how far she went and lost her way after Destiny wanted to save everyone. If you notice on the little footnotes of dialogue, Destiny's kind of like, hey, hold back, these are our people.
Yeah.
Mystique is not, F them.
And I've thought Moira was the villain of this entire thing from the beginning. And I think she has drugged Charles and Magneto along. And so it makes me wonder if they're too far gone at this point for what might be happening in the future, or if everybody will then
see that part I disagree with.
Moira.
But I also want to.
You don't think Moira's been the villain of this whole thing?
I don't think she's been a villain. I think that they're. I would say they're not really villains. I would say if anyone is the villain, I would say Mystique is the villain they're making her out to be. I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say at the end of the day, Shaw and Sinister will turn their backs on everyone. I could totally see them pulling. I could totally see Sinister just doing some fuck shit. Yeah. I don't want to think
Apocalypse is just chilling out God knows where.
Yeah, Apocalypse is there for the time being. They have no more use for him. But I want to talk about a book that is also going to be on shelves. Another little exclusive review. This is Batman, Superman, The Authority, the special that is coming out from Philip Kennedy Johnson with a bunch of artists like Trevor Hairsine that we know from Deceased. Jonathan Glapion, sorry I mispronounced it, who is a fantastic artist. He's doing Spawn now. He did New 52 with Snyder and Capullo. And we have Scott Hanna and Rain Barreto, who is great. And we have Ben Templesmith, and yeah, I believe that's it. So those are all of the artists on there, and this is a great book. So basically what this book is doing, you guys, now I'm so excited for what Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing in his world building right now in the DC universe. I think it's so slept on. I think that everyone needs to be reading it.
Oh yeah.
Because this is the best world building we've seen in DC in a very long time. And even in a Superman book, I don't think it's really had this level of stake, this level of adventure, this level of mythology being put into a Superman book. What it's doing, it's merging what Grant Morrison did in Superman and the Authority, and it is and it's also kind of the stakes that we talked about pre World War Rising when Superman was talking with Aquaman and Batman, and how Batman said there are plans for the Justice League because we see another threat. We need you here. That threat is introduced in this book. So we see this is why Batman wants Superman to stay. Superman is going, and he has his team being the Authority. We already knew that from the previous issue. This is how they're merging over, and what effect does that have when they leave, and what they plan to do. So I'm very high on this book. It's not really an over Batman story. So if you guys don't want to add another Batman book, it's critical to what Philip Kennedy is doing. And he's a great friend of the show, but this is probably his writing keeps getting better and better and better.
Oh, it's yeah.
And it's been very exciting to see his projects such as Alien, Action Comics, just completely just take it through the roof. And I couldn't be prouder of the way that this book turned out. The art is amazing. Like visually, it looks great. And I'm very high on this book. Pick it up, you guys. Again, it's in the description below. I have to add it because this was sent to me right before the show. So I read it right as I was done with AR, and we're here. But guys, it's great. Pick it up, and I'm sure you will see Philip on the show one of these days to talk about it. We got Melvin here.
The Warworld Saga. What's up, Melvin?
Loving the shirt. Again, if you guys are interested in getting a shirt, make sure you send either Bryce, me, or Stefan, missing link, a DM with your size. And once I have prices for merch, I will shoot it back at you guys. And but I definitely do want to get a head count for who wants merch, who wants comics. Yep. You can get it in white or black, or you can get a hoodie. So that's what we're going to be offering right now. And that's another step we're going to be taking. I think this is also a great time to mention that we are doing work with AWA Upshots. They're sending us books. You might see some creators from AWA coming on the show. And in return, we review their books. We promote them. So you guys are going to see a lot of us, a lot of AWA working together, put out the best content for you guys. We are super excited to talk about that. Creators Corner now is a great time to mention. We have a stacked lineup all the way through 2022. What I can talk about right now, which I'm super excited to bring you guys, Leah Williams this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about Tri-Magneto. Of course, we are going to be talking about my wifey Polaris and how that I will be marrying Polaris and not her. But that's a different story. Might be talking about Amazing Mary Jane. I'm excited to talk with Leah Williams, one of my favorite ex-writers right now, who really understands those characters better than probably most people in there in the X office. Also, we have Jim Shooter on the 10th. It's going to be an afternoon show. That is going to be a Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We got Marv Wolfman the 19th. That is another 1 o'clock show. That is a Saturday, which...
The 19th is a Friday.
Oh, no, then that is an evening show. That is an evening show. So, yes, that is a Friday. And that'll be evening then. I don't know. I've the dates. But I will let you guys know once I go back in the thread and look at it. But Marv Wolfman will be on the show, creator of the Teen Titans, creator of Nova.
Creator of so many other, like Bullseye, Tim Drake.
The creator of a lot of creators. Let's be real. Jim Shooter, creator of a lot of creators. Wedding of Spider-Man, Secret Wars, Jim Shooter. And we have J.M. DeMatteis, Craven's Last Hunt, and we will be launching his new series, Ben Reilly Spider-Man, with JM on the show. It's going to be fantastic, you guys.
Actually, I don't mean to correct you, but I have to. Marv Wolfman is co-creator of the new Teen Titans. We can't not show some love to George Perez while we're at it.
Co-creator, sorry. But, Nightwing. So for all you dick lovers out there, that's a good one. Yeah, that sounded very weird.
For all you what?
Sheena, where you at? No, I'm kidding. Because I know Sheena's always making Dick Grayson jokes. But I thought that was a good way to get people's attention, But that's what we have coming up on the
You're
channel, you
done.
guys. I'm super excited to bring that news. Yeah, you guys heard it first.
Woo!
But
Can't wait. Cannot
Bryce,
wait. I
what
will
else
be
do
a
we have?
viewer for a lot of those. So I'm gonna be fanboying in the chat just like you guys. So I can't wait.
Neither can I. A couple other books came out this week. No. I see. Link loves Dick. Come on, who doesn't love Dick? You want to fan Dick? He's right there. I hope YouTube is their guidelines are just walking around like Daredevil's a blind stick.
Hopefully they're not as strict as like TikTok guidelines.
Oh yeah, YouTube guidelines had to be walking around like this right now. But anyway,
Yeah.
What else did you read this week?
Steph, I would I don't know. I mean, Nightwing. Dick Grayson has said himself that Tim Drake's the best Robin, so Tim Drake's the best Robin. But I would put him as second. I would put him second.
Yeah, you got your main Dick right there. Just saying. Okay. Anyway, what did you read this week, Bryce?
What am I reading? Well, the only book that I have left to talk about is I said Moon Knight was my favorite Marvel title. It is my second favorite, right after this. Daredevil, issue number 35. It's by Chip Zdarsky, art by
Stefano Landini. I love this book.
Yeah.
Now,
Stefano Landini with Francesco Mobili.
Here's the thing about this book. If you are not reading this book already, you're not starting 35 issues in, you're probably not even going to read Devil's Reign. You might just be listening to us and getting your scoop, which is great as well. Basically, what's going on, we had 3 different bullseyes, and we had Typhoid Mary and Elektra leaving us off in the last issue. Going into this one, it's going to be the big bag battle when Daredevil's escaping prison after he fought the justice system, literally, and all of the drugs that is going on over there. We see a great battle sequence. Now, this art is a little different than what we've seen in the previous issues, but it's really dope. It's really dope. And it's really gritty, and it achieves what it wants,
Oh, absolutely.
We see Elektra playing the hero as she saves 2 civilians. At the same time, she's like, oh yeah, Bullseye, like you're kind of a wimp, because there are 3, you can't even kill yourself. And then what does Bullseye do? He kills his other 2 people. He tells them to shoot each other. So it's like kind of showing how villainry Bullseye is, and kind of how careless he is. Not careless, like as in like he's reckless, but like he genuinely doesn't care who dies. He just wants to kill people. That's his goal. But we see Elektra and Typhoid Mary go at him. What's really cool is we see this power in Elektra's pitchforks, or like her are they called pitchforks? What are they called? Like her I don't know what to call it.
Size.
Her
They're called size.
Sides?
They're called size. PSI.
Her side. Okay.
Yeah.
She bangs them together, and that creates the vibrations that like Matt Murdock could doesn't need because he's already blind, and the heightened sense, which is really dope. And then we see Daredevil come in a big bad way, and they're fighting off the bullseyes, or the bullseye. Daredevil knocks him out, and Daredevil gets the serum out of him by beating the crap out of Bullseye. We see Iron Man and Peter Parker come in. They get Daredevil off the hook because yes, he saved the city.
He did.
One of the Bullseye characters comes in and stabs Wilson Fisk. At the time, Typhoid Mary goes in and pushes him off the rooftop, killing him. And then Kingpin proposes.
See, a lot happened in this issue. A few important things. Daredevil officially,
comes back.
He's officially back. He's officially acquitted. Out of jail just in time for Devil's Reign. I'm worried that this is going to be some of the last that we're seeing of Matt Murdock as Daredevil for a while.
Well, we have the Elektra Daredevil miniseries, which is
true. So maybe Matt will come back and we will get another Daredevil relaunch or a Daredevil continuation after Devil's Reign. But I think whatever happens, they're ending it at 36 for a reason and not continuing it like they did with King and Black. Really?
Well, they wanna get to 650 and then relaunch it. I think that's it.
Where are we at right now? We are at 647. Do you think they'll count the Devil's Reign?
Nope. It'll be something.
Fair enough.
Because it's Electro Daredevil.
And that's a 3-issue mini.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah. 648, 649, 650, and then we'll probably get a relaunch with either Matt or Elektra as Daredevil. I hope it's Matt.
Could be both.
And honestly, I hope Zdarsky keeps going.
Zdarsky has stated there's more Daredevil to come.
Exactly.
So here's the thing, you don't know. And I like to think it could be follow the lines that Jason Aaron's Thor did.
Yeah.
And I don't really see people saying that they gender swapped Elektra because they really did, or they gender swapped Daredevil because it's very fitting to the story. Just like Jane Foster as Thor, it's very fitting to the story. And as long as that's the case, you're gonna see them back. Just like you saw your Odin son back, you're gonna see Matt Murdock come back. So
and correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm okay with Elektra having the spotlight. I think it's great that we see a female-led character in this role and kind of being a leader in this dark place. I think that's very empowering, and I think it's growing Elektra's character. And again, that's how you grow characters when you bring a new concept to them.
And correct me if I'm wrong too, but didn't so Jane Foster was I haven't read the run yet, but Jane Foster was Thor in that book. But wasn't the Odin son there as like a secondary character? Like he still got his
He was spotlight. There, but like he was basically like punished, so it was like you can't really do much.
Okay, fair. But I mean you could have, even if Elektra became the main Daredevil, you could still have a lot of that story devoted to Matt rediscovering his priorities.
Right.
Which I would really be down to see. Also, Melvin got to disagree. I love Donny Cates. Do not want to see him write Daredevil.
No, I think Daredevil is too grounded for Donny Cates right now, and Donny Cates likes working on a godlike level. I don't blame him. I mean, it sells, but quick shout out to other books that came out this week that I read. Adventure Man by Matt Fraction, Terry Dodson, who you're going to see on the show sooner than later. Just scheduling is not lining up right now, but they'll be here. 100% they'll be here.
I mean,
Terry and I are pretty friendly outside, like in the DMs. So, I know for a fact that we talk on almost like a every other day almost. We talk pretty frequently. So, this book's fun. It's a great family book, and you guys have heard me talk a lot about Adventure Man. Again, if you're not reading it, I don't think you're going to start in issue 6. And then I read Wonder Girl, which Yara Flor is getting into the Themyscira, which is kind of that and elevating her role, getting ready for Wonder Woman. She interacts with Artemis and Wonder Girl, or the other Wonder Girl.
Donna or Cassie?
Cassie. So it was dope. That is by Joelle Jones and Adriana Mello. I don't know if you guys can hear, but my voice is like starting to rasp up.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you've been talking for 3 hours now.
Yes. And the artwork is great, except I know they have to get this book out by January for Wonder Woman. However, I would like to see Joelle Jones kind of take on this project herself, not really with Mello, because I like the way Joelle Jones has her style. It's very fitting and it's just very unique. And I would like to see it more than Mello, even though they do a great job matching Joelle's style. I just think I like Joelle. It's just not Joelle. It's just not there. It's like it's like
trying to emulate Joelle Jones.
Yeah. It's like Eric Larson trying to draw Spider-Man after Todd McFarlane. It's just not the same.
Yeah. Or I would even say like somebody coming in and like somebody else coming in and drawing on a book that Daniel Warren Johnson's writing.
Right.
It's just something you don't really want to see.
It's like James Skokie drawing after Daniel Warren Johnson. Kind of like another version of that. But anyway, guys, that's it for weekly wrap-up. Like I said, we had a few announcements that I mentioned earlier in the program. Catch us live this Wednesday, or not live. Yeah, we will. What the hell are words today? We will be live this Wednesday for PCP Army Bad Batch Whiplash Wednesday. Stefan and I will be talking about what are we talking about? We're talking about how to make a successful relaunch. So basically, a lot of relaunches fail. Why do they fail? What can they do to ensure success down the road? Not just like 1 year after New 52, we have some breakout stories, but how can we relaunch our industry? Take notes, Marvel and DC from the two greater minds on YouTube. Other than that, we have Creators Corner this Thursday and Archives dropping this Friday. We're going to be doing Eternals by Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr. Previous week was Three Jokers, which has gotten a lot of good reception, so make sure you guys check that out as well. And the PCB Army Bad Batch, all their links are in the description below. You can catch them on Wednesday. We got a Blame Fable show. We will be returning this Sunday with Big Her and Missing Link, and I believe Rock and Robbie Billups will be on that show over on IG Live. So catch that before Rock and Robbie on Sunday. Should be great. Any books that we are looking forward to this week? What books are we looking forward to this week that are not canceled?
Let me double check. I know Venom got delayed, so that will be counted in next week's poll.
I know Venom did get delayed. We got Fable in here.
Swamp Thing number 9 comes out this week, and I am absolutely stoked for that. That's probably at this point my most anticipated book of the week. Batman 116.
Arkham City, the New Order of the World.
Is Arkham City out this week?
Oh,
yeah, Arkham City.
Dark Knights of Steel.
I'm going to be trade waiting Dark Knights of Steel, but I hope everybody reading that in single issues enjoys it.
I'm going to enjoy it. I know I am. What else coming out? I'm going to be picking up a crossover because I didn't get it from my store because they wouldn't sell it to me because
Primordial, Reign Black.
Amazing Fantasy, so
yeah. Firepower. Oh my gosh, Firepower.
Firepower comes out.
That's Image's most that's probably the most fun I'm having with an indie title right now.
If you guys are just as confused as the books we're talking about right now because we're doing it like kind of bouncing off each other just like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, me too. But a lot of tie-ins, a lot of Death of Doctor Strange tie-ins.
Star Wars comes out, but I decided I'm going to start waiting on Star Wars books till they hit Marvel Unlimited just because there's so many of them. Newburn number 1 is
Human Target is going to be great. I'm going to give that a read.
Newburn number 1 from Image Comics, written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Jacob Phillips.
Huh? I'm buying that.
Oh, I actually probably will too.
Knighted,
of course, Knighted number 1, Batman, Superman, The Authority number 1. Huh?
And yeah, I just said the same thing you did.
Batman, Superman. We said the exact same book at the exact same time.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for the support of this channel. This is one of our favorite shows that we do here. It's great to talk to all of you guys. Hashtag Road to 500. I believe we're getting there. So, all your support is great. It's why we do this. It's why we're able to talk to you guys and keep this show going. So this is fun. We just get to talk comic books. As always, make sure you guys are reading. If you have any questions, let us know what you thought about these. Catching the replay, leave a comment letting us know what you read or what you enjoyed this week. Again, if you didn't enjoy the book, we just be civil about it. It's not for everybody. But,
exactly.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your night.
See y'all later. Have a good one.